Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Festus Amadasu. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2023. And I'm here to show you, or let's discuss all our experience in 2022 and the challenges that we pass through in the pig farming industry, especially in the area of animal husbandry because of the increment in feeding. And a lot of farmers are closing up their farms because of the increment in feed. And those are the area that we should look into in 2023. I say thank you all, that all of you that have been watching this program from the beginning to this day. And I want to commend you guys for your effort, your contribution, especially those that are commenting, sharing their ideas, how we should go about it. I say thank you. May the good Lord bless you. The reason that I am coming up with this video is that we should start early this year, 2023. Because a lot of the mistakes that we made last year, because of the informations, especially we that are new in this venture, in the area of animal husbandry, you can agree with me that in terms of feeding, 70 to 80% of your procurement are all about feeding in this in the business of animal husbandry, especially in the area of piggery, poultry, fishery. And in that area, we should prepare before we start. We should look how we can sort our feed. That is the major issue. Because if you get your feed from a reliable source, one, at a very cheap price, two, you are good to go. The business is very lucrative. But the problem now is just the feeding because of the issues in Ukraine and some other Africa countries too that are passing, like in Nigeria now, the Boko Haram, the Northeast, the East Africa have their own issues, and some West African drought and every other climate changes are affecting a lot of things now. And that is the area that we should look into in 2023. That if you really want to succeed in this venture, I will only recommend what I believe and what I think I'm going to do in this year that I'm going to do different like before. Not that I did not try last year, but I did not try that much in terms of crop farming. I started with about 2 acres of maize, but the maize do not really do well because of the timing. Because I started around April, it started raining already. I couldn't weed it. All those things were factors that I do not really put into consideration because I do not really know. And nobody is willing to share his idea with us. And that is the primary aim and objective of me coming up with this whole thing, so that we can interact. Because many of us in Africa, I don't know why it's always like that. We don't like to share information with ourselves. We don't like it. Probably we think this place is like just the sky is too big for all birds to coexist, to fly. But most of us in Africa, when we have information, we audit. We don't share it with our neighbor. Even though you know something that is going to benefit your neighbor, we Africans, I don't know why it's always like that. We should please, in this 2023, anything that you know that it can benefit your neighbor, why don't you just share it with him? For me, anything I know, I'm ready to share it with anybody. Even though I do not make profit from it, I don't care. But if you have that information, you can employ 2 or 3 persons in Africa. The whole country, the continent will be okay for everybody to live in. Please, we should change our mentality in that regard. As for that, my plan now is to go for crop farming. And because in my area, I'm from Edo State, the southern part of Nigeria, they call it South. The rain, I think the rain already commenced around towards April. Let me say, a little rain from March, April, May, June, July, August, all the way to September. What I'm going to do is I'm going to plant at least like 5 acres of maize, because in pig farming, at least maize, cassava will serve as an energy source. That is the carbohydrate. And I don't know if the soya beans will do well, but I will plant like a groundnut to see if the soya beans do not go well. But I'm still asking, do my findings to know if soya beans will be good in that region. But I have not seen someone that have planted soya beans in South. I know the middle beds are always good, or do not, they are good in soya beans plantation. But I've not seen it in the South like that. I've not even seen the soya beans farm in my life before. But if you know or you have information about that, let us share that information together also. The reason why I'm showing this video is this. We all should try as much as possible to go into crop farming, especially if you are going to animal husbandry, like piggery, poultry, fish ponding. If you are going into like grass cutter, there's no problem. I think goat is ruminant animal. There's no problem. You can find grass around you. But like piggery, there are heavy feeders of which you need like the balanced diet, like carbohydrate, the protein, the minerals, and all these things. And you can sometimes this time around, especially this year that just passed by, they are not cheap. Something that I started buying a ton for 40,000 naira. 40,000 naira when I started is equivalent to 50 euros. But now, so I'm buying it now at the cost of how much is now 140,000 naira. You see the difference? 100,000 naira different, over 100 euro different, approximately 120 euro difference. You see, how do you think I'm going to make profit from this business? And I've seen a lot of farmers from the diaspora, in Nigeria or other African countries, in a lot of groups that I belong to, they are leasing up their farms. Some of them are selling up their farms. And we always preach that come and invest in African continent. And there is no way we can provide feed for the animal. I don't think that is, like for me now, I'm feeling the pains also, because why? When I started feeding my animal, I feed them 3 times a day. Now I'm feeding them once a day because of the cost. And not only because of the cost, because of the increment in numbers. I started with 26 pigs. Even upon the heartbreak, some setback that I have, I lost over 70 pigs at a particular time. Now, upon all these things, I still have about 130 pigs in the last count. You see, if I have 130 pigs, if I'm using like 500 euro to feed before, then you should know what I will be using by now. That is the area that I'm going to encourage new farmers that are coming into this business. Please try as much as possible. I think maize is about 120 days, 100 to 120 days, you can harvest it. I don't think that one is a rocket science. I don't think that one is it's too difficult. Now, a kilo of maize is about 200 naira, if not more than. And the soya beans is about 300 naira a kilo. That is to say, if you are buying a ton of maize, that means you will be paying about 200,000 naira in a. See, that one is that much, and of which, if you have over 100 pigs, you will be talking about a ton to 2 tons of maize every month. You do the plus and minus, you will see the cost. That the soya beans now is about 300 and something to 400. They assuming you are using 1 ton of soya beans, that's about 400,000 naira. That of which 400,000 naira should be, if I'm not mistaken, that should be about 500 euros. You see, that one is that much. We should now look for alternative to see how we can come up with different ideas, and especially those that also have the money that want to go into crop farming. I think one of the challenges that we are having, it is not just the environmental disaster and all, but we are still doing farming like the way our forefathers did, using hoes and cutlass. That is the area we should also engage the government in whatsoever form in the state or the city that we are. The government should play a bigger role in this whole thing. Because if the government are not doing all these things, you find out that we are going to still have tremendous challenges in the nearest future. In the area of the government coming in. Because if we do not engage this government of the day, especially in the Africans, they are not ready, they are not willing. They don't even care to even do anything. You keep on hearing every year the budgetary of every country or state. You hear a certain amount of billions have been budgeted for agriculture. And at the end of the day, nothing on ground. Like the state that I come from, I have not seen a government assistance in whatsoever forms. Probably like if you want to go into farming, the government will provide the tractors, fertilizer. But you hear this thing on news, that the CBN will come every year, that this is the amount of money that been allocated to each state in the area of machineries, fertilizer, so on and so forth. And at the end of the day, if you are not in the business, you might be thinking, yes, these people are benefiting. Nothing, not even a dime, not even the extensional workers that will come to inspect your farm in case there's an outbreak or whatsoever. Nothing like that in Nigeria that I've seen, especially in my state that I come from. I'm not going to say other states because I don't want to say things that I am not aware of. You understand? Something that I cannot define. I don't want to say it. But what I've seen in my state, I have not seen any extensional officer. No. Not even one. Even one day comes around and say, okay, there's an outbreak of swine fever. There's an this is what you should do. This is A, B, C, D that you should follow. No. Everything from A to Z, you sort it out yourself. But that's not the right way to go. If really we are serious about it, we want growth in Africa, I don't think that is the right way to go. I don't think so. And I'm using this opportunity to call on every one of us. Your comment, your sharing, you can make a video. Let it be a 2-minute video. It doesn't really matter. It must be a long 2-minute video. Let us keep on talking to this government in Africa. They should please, as much as possible, to encourage Africans. Just Ukraine issues now, look at the cost that is costing Africa. If it's only Ukraine issue, of which I don't know, but everything is labeled between Russia-Ukraine war. The cost of things now in Africa, you cannot buy anything. For you now to say you are going to live on your salary of a minimum, those their minimum salary that they pay. It's very shameful to even say the amount of they paid in my state, but I'm not going to say that one here. We should continue. Please ask information. Speak your mind. Let the government of the day. If we don't continue to tell them, like in my state now, I don't even know the name of the Commissioner of Agriculture. I don't even know him. Not to talk that he even engaged farmers. No. They are always on media telling people nasty things. They are doing this, they are doing that. I'm fed up with this whole thing. Especially we in diaspora. And then fellow Nigerians that are Africans that are home, that really want to help these people. Let us come together and form a formidable force to engage these politicians. Whosoever it is, we should engage them. We should begin to expose them. If there is money allocated, they should let us know who is in charge. Not you allocate money to your friends Probably you will say, every time if you go to CBN, you will hear CBN, farmer, so and so loan, 0% interest rate. Try, then you will know. Nothing like that. But you will hear about it, but when you try, then you will know that there is nothing like all those CBN something. It is just paddy thing, friends to friends. They will only give to their friends to go and build petrol station or build a hotel. You understand? Single digit interest rate. That's what you will be hearing on the news. If you want to know, try. I've not seen a farmer that even have a tractor, have an harvester, have a planter. No. How do you expect people to go and bring people from middle belt to be doing farming? That's what affected my farm last time. I started looking for farmers that will come and do clearing. I couldn't find one. Say it is rainy season. Some of them, they've traveled back to their various states. I think this is the right thing to do. Okay, if I have an acres or 5 acres of land, I should go and buy a planter. No, it's not like that. Yeah, you can rent a planter. You can rent an harvester. You can rent a bulldozer. Probably let me assume that I have a bulldozer that will come and work in my farm, like 10 acres of land, do the planting and all. At least I can afford that. But I cannot just say now, because I'm going to plant 10 acres of land or 5 acres of land, I will go and buy a tractor. It's not like that. That's not the way it is done here. Yeah, you can only go to an office, you rent it. Probably you are using it for 2 or 3 days. There is a cost, you pay the cost, that's gone. At least our brothers and sisters in diaspora, we should also continue to invest in that regard. If you are in that area, you have a tractors, you can bring those things to Africa, and you can be renting it to farmers. I think that one will be good also. But the first thing that we should do this new year, we should engage our government, and we should continue to plan, make our planning visible now. Especially most of us that are into animal husbandry. Because if we do not plan, the same thing that happens last year is still the same thing that will happen this year. I know. Because I know Africans, once they know how to do things, they will do it the same way next year. Because if we do not make preparation now in planting our own feed, like maize, like cassava, like groundnut, all those things, potatoes, I don't think those things are that too difficult. Just that the government is not helping. If the federal state government is coming up with something like that, okay, we have about 50 or 20 tractors, we are bringing to Edo State. If you want to hire, come and apply and hire a tractor, that will be more easier. Can you see it? It will be more easier. I can just go there and hire one tractor for a day or for 1 week and come to my farm and work. You see, I do not really need all those local guys that will just think about it. The area that the tractor is going to work, that you expect somebody. When I took laborers to my farm, they cleared 2 acres of land. There were about 10 of them. That night I couldn't sleep because I pitied the way those guys were. The kind of hard job. I saw them doing it. I was just standing there. I was just watching. My mind, I was bleeding inside because I see the hard work. You know, 21st century, we are still telling Africa to come. Africa should feed themselves using cutlass and hoe. What our forefather used in the 14th century, 16th century, 18th century, that we are using in the 21st century. No, that is not acceptable. I do not really have much to say. Probably, if you see this video, please share it. And I will let's encourage ourselves. We all should do at least 1 minute or 5 minutes video to call our government to do something meaningful for its citizens, especially we in diaspora that are willing to invest in Africa. That government should be supposed to support the process by providing the machineries, the enable plain feed, that everybody should do something. Because you cannot just say, I want to come to Africa I'm planning to have about 5 or 10 acres of land. I should go and buy a tractors. You know the cost of a tractor? But if the government comes up with an idea, say that I'm buying 10 tractors from the state for each local government, that citizens can be renting it. Because if the citizens are renting it, it's more profitable than you, after working with your tractors, you keep it. I cannot be running, renting a tractor. That's not my feed. The people that also specialize in that area can also go into that business. That's not my feed. Let us plan for this year. I do not really have much to say than all this that I've said. Thank you all for listening. Please like and share this video. Your comment is welcome. Whatsoever form, your comment is welcome, because some of the things that we thought we know, most of these comments that most of our those viewers also comes and drop here in the area of feeding to downsize the whole thing. It helps. It helps a lot, because you are. For me, I'm not an expert in this game. I just want my people to be okay. That's it. Thank you very much. May the good Lord bless you. Happy 2023. Bye for now.